Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host, Joseph Musia. The country paused briefly from GNU-watch earlier this week to go to Parliament where, at last, Mkhonto We Sizwe Party members were sworn in. Only 2 weeks ago they were not going to because, they say, the elections were rigged. Just as well because we have become accustomed to this type of political flip-flopping. Their short-lived boycott of Parliament, it turns out, was just part of our now normal political theatrics to attract attention and cause drama. In this episode, I discuss some of the more controversial members of the MKP caucus. The party's composition will help us project how the next 5 years will likely unfold in Parliament. Let's get into it. There are a few recognizable faces among those who were sworn in. These include Parliamentary Leader Dr. John Hlophe. Until a few months ago, Hlophe occupied one of the highest positions in the judiciary as the Judge President of the Western Cape. He was found guilty of gross misconduct for his attempt to influence Constitutional Court judges to rule in favor of Jacob Zuma. In one of its last acts before the elections, the 6th Parliament removed Hlophe from his position. Zuma is now able to reward Hlophe for his loyalty. He has ensured that among its first acts, the 7th Parliament confirms him as a member. Ironically, Hlophe is now eligible to become a commissioner of the Judicial Services Commission, the same body that found him unfit to continue serving as a judge. At a media briefing shortly after the swearing-in, Hlophe was non-committal when asked about this possibility.
I think it would be premature of me to make that suggestion. I obviously have expertise. I've been a judge in this country for 29 years, so I know the system in and out. But if there are people who are suitably qualified or who are willing to go, they will be deployed. At this point in time, it is premature to ask me that question. We have not said and we have not decided. We haven't deployed anyone. There are so many areas where I could serve. There are many committees where I could serve in this country, including the Justice Portfolio Committee, Security Cluster. There are so many committees where I could be of assistance.
Also sworn in was Andile Mncitama, formerly of the EFF and Black First Land First Party. Mncitama has made a name for himself by spewing racist rhetoric and defending it by saying blacks can't be racist. He once led a protest by members of his BLF party outside the home of journalist Peter Bruce. They were prevented from going to others by a court interdict. Mncitama was unceremoniously booted out of the EFF in 2015 following a fallout with the party's leadership. He was manhandled by supporters of party leader Julius Malema. With MKP joining the Progressive Caucus and Parliamentary Leader Hlophe singling out the EFF as their main ally, it will be interesting to see how Mncitama gets along with his former party. Then there is Des van Rooyen. The Guptas had many lackeys in the ANC at the height of their power, but very few sat deeper in their pockets than Mr. van Rooyen. When Zuma plucked him from the obscurity of an MP and made him Minister of Finance in 2015, he had a bevy of Gupta minders in tow. It's just as well he lasted only a weekend. Who knows what would have happened to the country's foreign reserves had he stayed longer? While the MKP is the focus of my discussion, they are not the only ones whose members have questionable integrity. Seen in the vicinity of the swearing-in ceremony was EFF MP and erstwhile Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane. She was there to support her husband David Skosana, now an MKP MP. She too was dishonourably discharged after she was found guilty of misconduct and incompetence by a parliamentary inquiry. Before this, the courts questioned her understanding of the law. In one case, the High Court found that she did not fully understand her constitutional duty to be impartial and to perform her functions without fear, favor, or prejudice. The Constitutional Court even found her guilty of dishonesty. Yet she came back to serve in the Justice Committee, to which her successor accounts. Nothing in the Constitution or any other law prevents Hlophe and Mkhwebane from serving in Parliament. But maybe it is time for this discussion. Should someone who has been impeached and removed from a Chapter 9 institution or the judiciary be allowed to serve as a parliamentarian? Is it right that leaders of political parties can show our democratic system the middle finger by elevating someone who was found guilty of dishonesty, gross misconduct, or incompetence to the highest seat of lawmaking in the country? In any other situation, this would constitute a clear conflict of interest. While we scratch our heads, Hlophe and his MKP crew are now members of the National Legislature, and their mission is clear.
We want each and every South African, black or white, to have access to land. Land in this country, we all know the history of land. We know how it was acquired. There is a historical context to it. We are not apologetic. We are also not apologetic in our call for the law to be Africanized. By that we mean we bring back the laws that used to govern the African people. And one of those laws is this: the land in Africa can never be the subject of private ownership. The land belongs to the nation. It belongs to the nation. It doesn't form part of private ownership. We believe that the key sectors of the community, the key sectors of the economy must be transformed, right? This includes mines, this includes agriculture, and other sectors of the community. We haven't seen much transformation in 30 years in this country. So it's not just land where significant changes must take place, but also key sectors of the economy must be transformed, so that everybody else will benefit from it.
If you enjoyed this episode, please hit like and subscribe to help the podcast grow. See you in the next one.